Okay, let's talk about nouns. It's very exciting. And you can probably see a beautiful picture taken by Mrs. Hatton at Year 5 camp. That's going to help us talk about nouns. We want to answer 3 questions in this video. How does knowing about nouns help me? What types of nouns are there? And how do I find nouns in a sentence? Okay, the big question, why do I need to learn about nouns? What does it do for me? Well, there's a few big things, like Adam in the Garden of Eden. We like to name things. Do you name your pets? Do you have nicknames for your family and friends? Very important to a human being to name things. Now, for people to know what you're talking about, you need to be specific. And this will involve using the right noun, having a good vocabulary to choose it. Now, with your vocabulary, you can really impress if you have a good vocabulary. If you know the meaning of words, you can show off with the words that you know. With nouns, they give ownership and identity to things. So you can give someone or something an identity by labelling it and giving it a noun. Finally, it's very important to your writing that you are cohesive. So if you are able to use nouns that flow well in your writing, you might start with some proper nouns and then use different common nouns to refer back to them. You've got a cohesive text, and that shows that you know what you're talking about. All nouns will help you express your ideas and experiences accurately so that other people can get into your head and understand what you mean. We've enjoyed reading the words by in class, so here we are to inspire and give you more information. Nouns. A noun is a name for something. Nouns are everywhere. If you look around a room, you will see it's full of nouns. There might be a chair or a mirror or a light. There might be a table with a plate of sliced watermelon on it, waiting for you to eat it up. Let's hope so. These things are all nouns. Nouns can also be animals or people. If the word spy saw a rabbit hopping onto the back of a camel while the cat was talking to the Prime Minister, these are all nouns, and a very unusual situation. Nouns can be places. Rotorua is a noun, so is the Zambezi River. Well, that's actually 2 nouns. These are real places but nouns can also be imaginary places, like Narnia or Hogwarts. Nouns are also things we can't see or touch. Feelings, for example. If you feel happiness, you're feeling a noun. Or ideas. When you are learning geography, you're learning a noun. Or actions. If you hate snorkeling, you're hating a noun. The world sure is chock-a-block full of nouns. Okay, the types of nouns. Let's get excited, people. Here we have them, the basics. Common nouns are everyday people, places, things and events around us. For example, you've got your teacher, your park, your party or your bus. These are the things we experience with our senses. We see them and we can walk up and touch them. They are the places and things we can see and smell and eat and taste. They're the things we interact with. The proper nouns are when we give those things their special titles, and we always use capital letters for those. Your teacher might be Miss Jones or Mr. Burns. When you need to be specific, you give them their special title and you add capital letters. Then we have the abstract nouns. These are the names for the ideas that you think about. You can't taste, touch, see them, you can only think about them. And for example, happiness, fear and danger, and they're called abstract nouns because they are slightly abstract. And the last one I have for you is your collective nouns. When you have a collection of nouns, like a whole group of sheep in a paddock, you call it a herd. If you've got a whole group of singers in a paddock, you call it a choir. And so they are the words given to a group of nouns, and it helps you describe what you are looking at. All right, here we have the beautiful picture from Mrs. Hatton I just think it's delightful. Taken from her balcony at Rathane. Let's list some of the nouns that we can see. I wonder what you're writing down. What nouns can you see in this photograph? All right, press pause, write some down, and then come back and see if you've got the same ones I did. Got a few happening here. What are you writing down, I wonder? I'm looking for the people. The place. The place. And the things that I can see in this picture. All right, do we get some of the same things? A silhouette is that black sort of shadow that you can see of the tree because the light is behind it. Now I wonder if you had the river as one of your nouns. You might not have realised, but that's actually the common noun. And the proper noun would be to give it its specific name, the Port Hacking River. Now, because I've turned it into a proper noun, I've given it capital letters. Now I can also see that we are at camp. We're at the campsite. But do you remember the name of the specific one? It wasn't Telford, wasn't Deer Park, it was Rathane, and again with a capital letter. Finally, the trees are there. If I want to be a little bit more specific, I can say to you that they are eucalypts, gum trees. And it's really using my vocabulary to impress there. Now, when you're writing a story or a scientific report, it's always a good idea to be specific with your proper nouns, especially the first time you mention them. And then you can refer to them by their common noun after that to keep things interesting. Now, I'm hoping by now that you've been able to answer why knowing about nouns is important and you know what the types of nouns are. Now let's see if we can find some in a sentence. We know that they're people, places and things. So let's look. What people can I see in this sentence? What places can I see and what things can I see? The sunrise reflected pink, purple and golden on the clouds above the Port Hacking River. The trees stood as shadowy silhouettes against the waking sky. All right, so that's about Mrs. Hatton's photograph. Now, the sunrise is a thing. Reflected pink, purple and golden. Here's a bit of a hint. Colours are not nouns. They describe something, and in this case they're describing the clouds above the Port Hacking River. Well, that's a place. That's very easy to spot. Something I could touch with my hand would be the trees, and I can see with my eyes, I can see the sky. Now, something a little bit trickier to see is the silhouettes. That's a special name for the black outline that the trees got because the sun was behind it. It is the name of something, a silhouette. Now, each of these nouns has adjectives to describe it. Pink, purple and golden, like we said before, describe the clouds. The trees are shadowy silhouettes. So shadowy silhouettes describes the tree. It's probably a noun group actually. And waking is describing the sky. Now finally, something for you to do at home. The first thing is called the veggie basket. Oh yes, very fun. Your job is to pick a letter, any letter, and make a list for me of all the nouns that you can think of that are fruits or vegetables. The other activity that you may choose, you can choose one, or we can either choose veggie basket or news or mag. That's up to you. In a mag or newspaper page, you need to find for me 10 common nouns, 10 proper nouns, and you get bonus points for any abstract or collective nouns. So they're bonus points. Now, if you feel like it, you could time it for me and tell me how long it took you to find 10 common nouns, 10 proper nouns, and any bonus points for collective. And I would like to see it. I hope you've had fun learning about nouns and that you feel a little bit more informed.